So, you know that feeling when you're at a supermarket checkout, right? And you get your change, and then you're struggling to put it in your pocket, and then you drop it, and you drop down to quickly pick it up, and you're panicking because everyone in the queue behind you is looking at you with sort of these evil eyes.
And then you realise you're in a prison shower and get like
then
a 12-inch black dick up your ass.
You realise...
No, 14 inches.
Oh no. And you realise that it's all horribly uncomfortable, and you wish you weren't in prison right now, because if you were, you'd have been made someone's bitch at that point. You know that feeling. It's just me. Okay, it's just me. Anyway, Doctor Who Series 9 was a thing.
It was AIDS. Full-blown AIDS, maybe.
Yeah, you could say it was. It
gave me AIDS.
I believe...
Hellbent raped my children.
Why do I feel like someone has claimed that? So this is kind of on special request, isn't it? Because someone was asking if we do more Doctor Who content, so...
Oh, yes, exactly.
We are. Right. Are we counting... First, off the bat, are we going to count Last Christmas or not? Can we
it's
not?
on the Wikipedia page.
Oh, do we have to?
Just
shit. Okay, yeah, it's shit.
That's all. Move on. I have not rewatched it in like 3 years.
I haven't watched it in ages. It tries to combine Alien, The Thing, and I think Miracle on 32nd
and Inception.
And it's just so... It's not... Okay, I don't think it's awful. It's just really weird.
It's just...
However...
It references them. Doesn't mean you're not actually... It doesn't mean you're being original. Oh, we're mentioning the things that we're ripping off. It's okay. It's not. You're still ripping off the things you're mentioning. It makes it worse.
We've got what? Aliens. We've got a remote Arctic base under assault from an alien life form. Alien things that leap onto people's faces and hold them there. Dreams within dreams. Santa. It's fucking... One good thing can be said, though. Nicholas Frost makes a great Santa.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see him in a Santa film.
I want to hug him.
Oh, yeah. He seems like he'd be a really nice guy to give.
I mean, at least he won't rape my children.
Yeah, unlike
even though he's Santa, which that's the whole point of Santa. But
giving people gifts, you can imagine Nicholas Frost dropping down into like down the chimney and giving gifts to children.
Children's.
No, because he's not the children's. But you can imagine him coming out the fireplace with presents for you, can't you? He seems like a very charming guy. Anyway, Magician's Apprentice. He's gone. He's fucking gone. I mean... This is all we can really say. It's so bad it just has to be abandoned. It's boring, it's slow-paced, and nothing of consequence happens.
10 out of 10, it gave my children sweets.
Yeah, but what did it do next?
Not really, it made my children suck his sweets.
Oh god.
Why is there so much rape?
I think that's more, it's something about your mindset. Anyway, yeah, it's got stupid things like the Doctor on a tank with an electric guitar, because I don't know, and then there's Davros, and then Skaro, which is back after it got blown up, because, you know,
Dalek continuity doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the Dalek... Well, the thing is, the Dalek sort of timeline did make sense until the Time Lords sent the Doctor to fuck it up in Genesis. And then it kind of got messed up. And then the Time War just completely screwed it to all oblivion.
It got blown up in Remembrance, and then it came back in the TV movie.
Yeah, in Remembrance, it was...
For some reason...
It was reconstructed... In Remembrance, it was... destroyed, then they reconstructed it.
Apparently it missed, according to like the 8th Doctor books.
I think that's pretty daft.
Which is stupid.
I think they reconstructed, then the Time War happened. I don't know whether it got destroyed, but
probably did.
Yeah, there's another time to talk about that. So yeah, is there anything else to say about Magician's Apprentice?
It's terrible. It completely ruins the Daleks by saying like the shell makes them. Apparently the shell makes them evil. Which is not true.
Yeah.
It's like...
This is more
so
Witches military.
Every time they say exterminate, they're saying love me?
Yeah, it's dumb. Anyway, Witches Familiar, which followed this, is actually pretty good in most respects. Certainly...
Wait, what? You like it?
Yeah, I do like the Witches Familiar.
What?
Yeah,
I thought we were talking about the whole thing. Sorry.
No, the whole Dalek shell thing is retarded, but the rest of it is pretty good. There's a good chemistry between Missy and Clara. It's pretty interesting to see a full-blown Dalek city. And yeah, it seems that Davros are quite well done.
It's like remembrance. So Genesis.
Yeah, but it wasn't quite on the same scale as this because they didn't really have the budget or the effects to properly
They visited
show
like
us.
2 places.
I don't know which one you're talking about because that could be Genesis or
Which is familiar.
they see some corridors.
They go in some corridors. Like Davos's chamber.
Yeah, they go in some.
That big thing, which I have no idea what that thing's for. It's like that room with all the Daleks in.
The control
which
room.
Is, I don't see any controls. I see like
I see
one panel.
No, there are control panels ringing the room. It was also repurposed for use in Under the Lake and Before the Flood. But
oh yeah, I think I know.
They rebuilt the set to they turned
like
it into the hangar set.
Yeah, that's all you see.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, what do you see in fucking the Daleks? You see fucking corridors and a control room.
I'm talking about Genesis.
Yeah, what do you see in Genesis? Corridors?
You see the war room. You see that room with the nuclear. They're trying to make the nuclear bomb. You see
some corridors.
Loads of corridors.
Let me put it this way:
the laboratory. You see, what was it? What was it? The room where they were testing the Daleks, like practice shooting. That bit outside, where all the soldiers were dead.
Of course, there's also worth remembering all those locations looked fucking identical, or at least
the quarry. The quarry.
Oh yeah, it was all done in a quarry. But I mean, all those locations were very similar because clearly they'd redressed the sets. With this one, yes, the locations were quite the same. It's to be expected from Dalek architecture, but you actually got to see full panning shots of the city to get a sense of its scale and its size, which they couldn't do with Genesis and the Daleks. So you just had to kind of imagine it all.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, was due to the budget, but it's nice to see a Dalek city properly realised with special effects.
Like at the Daleks, where all like stand-up cardboard ones.
Yeah, they
like the stand-up cardboard Daleks. They're my favourite designs.
Yeah,
they're very realistic.
There's a couple
3-dimensional.
You know, there's a couple of shots where you can actually see them wibble in the background because someone opened a door in the studio.
Oh,
the breeze came in. Yeah. What else? Is there much else for which is familiar, really?
Davros.
Oh yeah, Child Davros, and Davros opened his eyes, which is dumb. I don't like it. It's stupid.
I don't get why. I don't mind it on a continuity thing because it's never explicitly said that he lost his eyes. I mean, he has the third eye, but it's never explicitly said. Maybe his eye. I don't know. But
anyway,
I always thought the third eye was sort of intimidation. Anyway.
True. But now, now for the two-parter that I really like, probably my favourite of this series, apart from Heaven Sent, Under the Lake and Before the Flood.
It's great. That's really all. It's one of those stories like 10th Planet, Power of the Daleks, where it's great. And that's about it.
Yeah, there's not much else you can say. It's great. Very good visual design. Interesting and engaging script with likeable and actually kind of memorable characters.
Yeah.
What more can I say? Hell, I mean, even the despite the Fisher King's slightly crap death, he's still really well designed.
No one wants to die in a CGI flood.
Yeah, his death was a bit rubbish, but his actual costume design was really impressive.
Looked like a Power Rangers film.
Nah, you see, I think he actually looked pretty cool.
He does though.
Plus, he was.
You can imagine that.
Yeah, you can.
It's fine.
But unlike Power Rangers, this was actually good. Come at me, Power Rangers fans. Come at me. Also, he was the guy in the Fish King costume was also the same guy who played. No, he was voiced by the guy who voiced Darth Maul in episode 1. So fun facts. And the actor in the costume is the tallest man in Britain.
Ah.
So there you go.
Not Doug Jones.
No.
Who the Bye Man?
No, it's a different guy. Doug Jones is also.
He's probably up there. He's probably up there.
Doug Jones. Doug Jones is one of the tallest. Well, one of the well-known tallest guys in the world. Though he's also
Andre the Giant.
Yeah, he's also a pretty good actor though, Doug Jones. So I'm complaining.
The girl who died. Should we rate all these as we go?
Yeah, good idea actually.
It's a two-parter. So 2.
Rating them individually, Magician's Apprentice gets a 2, which is familiar, a 6.
I can both a 2.
I'm rating them individually.
Alright, so 4 in between, I guess. If you're gonna
Under the Lake, I would give a 8, and Before the Flood, I would give a 7.
I give them both an 8.
Actually, maybe both.
Like on a whole.
Yeah, and Girl Who Died.
I count those two as separate because they're such different locations.
Yeah, it's a good.
I feel like they should be like in separate places in the series.
Actually feel they're a good example of how to do a two-parter. It doesn't feel like they cut a movie in half because each one goes to different places. They're linked by the same plot, but there are individual aspects which you can identify for each of them. Plus, I really did like the setting for Before the Flood, like the sort of the fake Russian town thing. There was like an army training location in the Cold War. That was a pretty cool idea.
Oh yeah,
and I was nicely realised. Yeah, Girl Who Died though, 4.
It's really bland and
it's bland,
bad.
it's forgettable, and it's kind of a misuse of a really good actress.
And then you've
All
got
I can
the Monty
think,
Python.
Yeah,
thing
the
in
Monty
the sky.
Python face in the sky. I mean, when Space Odin turns up in the sky, tell me you didn't think about Monty Python, the Holy Grail. Tell me.
I think most people did.
Who wouldn't? It's just. Also, Space Odin and the Maya sounds like a 70s punk rock band. And that's all I can think of when it comes to that.
There's what was it? Stephen Moffat obviously wrote all the
Yeah, he wrote in all the Ashilda stuff,
which if it was taken out, probably a bit better.
Yeah,
but it still
keep the character,
It
but
still wouldn't be that good.
It's honestly, it's just, I don't know whether it's really a brilliant idea. To be honest.
I can kind of tell, like Into the Dalek, of which you can obviously tell who
wrote what.
Yeah, like Phil Ford and Steve Moffat wrote all the stuff with Danny and like the weird out of place "Am I a Good Man" bits, which are there, that Missy scene, which completely destroys the atmosphere of that scene. It's in the middle of a battle scene. It's like, oh, would you like some tea? Yeah, welcome to heaven.
It's like, Dalek exploding, pew pew,
it's like
boom,
right back into it.
Yeah. No, actually, that's one thing you can say for Into the Daleks. It's got some good old Daleks blowing shit up kind of action, which has been lacking recently.
Oh yeah,
it's quite cathartic,
especially in Magician's Apprentice, which from where they do
jack shit. Let's be honest.
They actually do nothing.
The Daleks do jack shit in that story. It's all Davros who does. Davros is the real sort of moving agent.
Really do anything?
He does.
He does take the Doctor Regeneration.
He tricks the Doctor in a pretty much a very sort of, you just got pranked kind of way.
And then it's like, oh, but it was my plan all along. Sure. It's like the Doctor is like, it's like, oh, it's backfiring. You're getting a bit of Time Lord in you, so to speak.
But a Time Lord in you, right?
But
sounds a bit uncomfortable.
But
sounds a bit strange, actually. Sounds a lot like bomb.
They regenerate while stirring. That'll be weird.
Ooh. Yeah. But anyway, we're not. What would you rate Girl Who Died, actually?
3, 4. I haven't actually rewatched. There are a couple of stories on this series I haven't rewatched.
I'll be honest.
Girl Who Died, Woman Who Lived, Sleep No More, and Heaven Sent. Those are the 4 I haven't rewatched.
Actually, the only ones I have rewatched are Under the Lake, Before the Flood, which is familiar, and Heaven Sent. I haven't rewatched the others since they aired, because honestly, I don't have much care for them. Okay, Woman Who Lived, though, I do think is pretty good. I'd give that a 6 out of 10.
I find it really...
Woman Who Lived, personally, I think, just has such a great idea, because essentially, it would take out all the sort of lion guy stuff, which really seems to be there for the sake of having a threat, and it's more about, a sort of philosophical examination of the nature of being immortal, and how, actually, that would really suck.
I don't have much to add, because I haven't seen it in a while. One of the few ones...
Oh, yeah, I've rewatched that not too long ago, too, so that's why it's kind of fresh in my mind.
Yeah, I don't have the Ashilda ones fresh in my
mind.
Yeah,
I really enjoy them.
I surprisingly have a lot to say about Sleep No More, because it's like found footage which is broken. Like you can't actually do anything with found footage because it's broken anyway. Try and do something with found footage. It's horror. It's like you just hold the camera and do stuff. You can't have the editing and the direction that normal horror needs.
Yeah,
which is the problem with found footage.
Making a genuinely scary found footage horror film takes a lot of effort.
I'm trying to think of a Chronicle, which I think I watched I think it's one of those films where I think I've watched it, but I'm not sure.
Chronicle is a good Josh Trank one, isn't it?
Yeah, even
They've
though
got him Fantastic Four.
though it's like found footage, but it completely excuses it being found footage.
Yeah, I know.
By just having this, using the superpowers, just hold it round them. They completely excuse it, so I don't see the point.
That's clever, actually.
Yeah, but it's what's the point?
Yeah, that if you're gonna do
it's
that,
like the egotistic kind of nature.
Yeah, the sort of thing of power corrupts and all that. But yeah, One Who Lives, I think, just makes a good point that actually immortality would really fucking suck because you'd see everyone you love and care about die before you, and eventually you'd lose the ability to form human relationships.
If I had a choice to be or not, I'd probably choose it and get fed and regret it later anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind living for a really long time, but not for eternity. That would destroy you eventually.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You'd just become you'd after enough time you'd essentially become essentially a god, an uncaring, uninterested god. Because time is basically you've lived so long that centuries are a blink of an eye to you, and you don't care about anything anymore. That'd be really depressing.
Actually, looking at these, you can tell which are two-parters because Under Lake Before the Flood, they have
the
255B,
codes.
255A. Coincidentally, weirdly enough, Girl Who Died and Woman Who Lived have separate ones.
Yeah, they have separate production codes, which I think is because different authors, different writers, same director.
And but different locations and everything.
Yeah, different location filming. Though they're both done by Ed Bazalgette, whatever his name is.
Right, if you click on him, something interesting about him. You know why he's not doing it anymore?
What?
It's directing. He's actually he's on tour with a band.
Oh, because he's
I saw them last Saturday. That was a weird experience. Have you heard that song?
Oh, I've heard Turning Japanese. Is that I think I'm Turning Japanese.
Yeah.
Turning Japanese. Yeah, it's a really good song, that.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, it's really... It's a really weird... It's like, he did episodes of Class as well, which is odd.
No, plus his great-grandfather was an important part of the design and engineering of the London sewer system.
And his third cousin, Peter Bazalgette, later presented a show for 5 called The Great Stink.
And he's also done a documentary on Genghis Khan and Hannibal. Hannibal, as in the...
Not Lecter.
Not Lecter, as in, the biggest, the Carthaginian, enemy of Rome. He's directed Easton's location. Well, how about that? Okay.
He gets around.
Oh, he directed... Okay, this guy's actually pretty interesting. He's really made a name for himself.
Yeah, former musician. He's got back to it now.
Yeah, so thank you, Bazalgette. Well, thank you.
And they weren't bad as well.
Yeah. And plus, I think those two are quite well directed. Right, now for the Zygons.
The main problem I have with it is, the fact... Do you get it? The Zygons are Muslims. Do you get it yet? And
it's an allegory for Islamic extremism. Do you understand it? We're trying to virtue signal that we're being politically correct.
Even though most people realise the point you're getting at. Yeah, we get it. Not all Muslims are like this. Everybody knows this.
Okay, listen, BBC. You need to realise most of the population realised quite a while back that not everyone in a headscarf is a terrorist. It's only a few.
Maybe a bit of 2001. A lot. There was a lot of that
because of recent events.
Because of George Bush.
George Bush and his evil.
Jet fuels can't melt steel beams.
But I mean, it is aside from racist far right nut jobs, most people understand that not every Muslim is a terrorist, and most of them are perfectly normal, well-adjusted people.
It's not interesting if you keep hammering in.
The problem is, it's the kind of story that should have really been written for 15 years ago, when there was the distrust of Islamic religion was at its height, thanks to events like 9/11.
That would have been 2000.
I'd say around...
They predicted 9/11 like The Simpsons.
I'd say around 2006 in the light of stuff like 7/7 in London and that kind of thing. So it's basically...
Wasn't that 2012?
No, that was...
all around there?
No, that was 2005.
There was another bombing, wasn't there?
I don't know.
A big bombing.
It's kind of depressing.
I remember because Sky, that train being on the Underground, that was meant to be a commentary on it, and because it was really
Do you know what is depressing though? The fact that they all seem to be melding together. End of the day, fuck terrorists. I don't know.
Another problem with the Zygon 2-parter, it's clearly an afterthought for the Day of the Doctor, because A problem I have with the Day of the Doctor is the fact that
The way
it just
they
leaves the Zygon subplot hanging.
The way they resolve that Zygon subplot is like, yeah, they integrate into society, then think about it, and it's
now
like,
let's
what?
go and commit. It's like that. The parallels are so ridiculously, stupidly obvious.
It
like
really
they
is.
keep saying you can't do this. You can't destroy your own kind. And it's like we get it. We're not stupid. We get it.
It's so fucking annoying.
It's like, and then so they do, and then this like, and then Clara, it's like she's crying. It's like, oh, you can't kill these children. You did it before.
Yeah, it's so fucking
You'd
dumb.
already done it. Fuck.
I used to kind of like these as well, and they can get fucked. All I'll say is,
It's like it's an afterthought. So the whole point of it is to fix a mistake. Like Rogue One, it says, "Oh, we fixed that exhaust point thing."
yeah.
Of
course, the thing
it's
is,
still a flaw with Star Wars because it's an afterthought.
well, actually, that was a theory that had been around for a long time, that it was a deliberately engineered flaw. There are a few explanations in the old continuity. I think one was that it was just like lazy contractors didn't bother to put the grating on because they didn't think it was necessary.
Still, originally in the script, that's not what he put. It's a plot hole.
Yeah,
There we go.
but you know they glued up the plot hole with the prequel, which I quite enjoyed. But anyway,
Which
this
is
we're
fine,
not talking
but
about Star
it's still
Wars.
a flaw.
We're talking about.
It's still on topics. Like, if you try and retroactively fix a flaw, it's still a flaw. It's just an afterthought. It's like those really terrible glues you get.
Yeah. Honestly, I just
It's
can't
like those
even.
terrible glues you get where you try and stick it in, but it's not sticky enough, so it comes off in
yeah.
about a month.
It
Unless
rips
you stick
out.
it down, which it kind of molds to the page.
I mean, just
It doesn't work that well.
yeah, the Zygon.
Just use the PVA glue you had in the beginning.
The problem is the problem with this two-parter is it started off like, you know, Pete Tarnas was like, you know, they were like, oh, we should probably resolve that whole subplot from Day of the Doctor. And then someone was like, how about we make it a political allegory? And then obviously because the BBC need to go
Because it was already.
need to go with their liberal virtue signaling. They're like, yeah, and it's oh fucking hell. Actually, we haven't
It's like,
rated.
I kind of hate how they made a big deal out of the female Doctor. Not just because of the endless chess video, which I love. Like, it was just amazing.
Yeah,
But
no, it's kind
but
of
because
like
of the
yeah, it's so
probably
annoying.
put that video in the description because it's so good.
They're
But,
it's their
can I-
attitude. That's what I hate.
What was it? What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, I hate how they made like everyone's saying, oh, we shouldn't care about the Doctor being female. It doesn't matter. Whilst making this massive deal about the Doctor being female.
If it doesn't fucking matter, don't make a huge deal about it. Just say, yeah, she's a woman.
Say it shouldn't
deal with
matter.
it. Doctors are.
Well, it's obviously a big deal.
You
can't pretend it's
you
not.
are not. You're acting like it's not a big deal whilst farming it for publicity. You corporate scumbags. Stick to your morals. It's not a big deal, so don't make it into one. Just say, yeah, the Doctor's a woman now. Get over it. You know, don't fucking go off with all this publicity. Jesus Christ.
The main problem I have is like, you have
Fucking hell.
You have this. It was going to be a big deal either way because it's
unavoidable
these days.
That's the problem.
Is.
It was gonna happen.
It just kind of is. There's no reason. It just is. But
As much as I don't
people
like
are going to get annoyed. People are going to love it. And it's like, oh, this shouldn't be a big deal. Yeah, stop. Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's obviously a big deal. You morons, stop hiding in the closet like you're in Narnia. And
It shouldn't be a big deal. I agree. You should not make it into a big deal.
it already is. But don't say it shouldn't be a big deal. You're still making it a big deal.
I mean, you should have just literally said, Jodie Whittaker is going to be the next Doctor Who. You know, keep it at that.
Not a bad choice either.
No, she's a really good actress, so I'm totally up for that. But anyway, what scores would you give Invasion and Inversion?
Like, there's a two-parter, so 3.
Individually, 5 and
3?
3.
Yeah.
Someone's written. There's a weirdly large amount of Bonnie X Clara lesbian / fiction for some reason.
Oh yes, that's
I'm not kidding. It's a thing.
okay. Sleep no more.
Just because you want to make a found footage horror film doesn't mean it'll be good.
You can respect him for trying. Though.
Yeah, no, you know what,
That's the only thing I really like about it.
Yeah, I appreciate Sleep No More because they went and tried something new and original and untested, and credit to them. You know, yes, it failed miserably and backfired, but at least they tried. You know, it was something different.
I like Kill the Moon, which this is probably would be my least favorite story of all time if it wasn't if it wasn't an idea that they tried and people actually felt passionate about it.
Until, of course, problem with Kill the Moon is it also goes a bit far with the whole
if you look at
commentary thing.
It's like the thing is with Kill the Moon, like this one random conversation piece, like a big conversation piece, the car out of the Doctor at the beginning. It's like, she's been doing all this stuff with your sonic screwdriver, psychic paper. If you look at those things and look at it with basic logic of just who the 12th Doctor is, none of this makes sense. Like, nothing about this makes sense. Not a single thing she's done. She has the psychic paper. She probably doesn't know what it is. The Doctor would keep it under massive guard. He wouldn't do this. This is maybe the 11th Doctor, fine. Same with the sonic screwdriver. It's like, fake ID. She won't even know what it is or how to use it.
Can I just say, I love how you're massively overreacting to like one throwaway line.
Because it doesn't make sense to pure logic. Simple logic.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Alien meets Blair Witch is worse than both. To be fair, no, I will give credit because
they're like polar opposites on the spectrum of quality.
And this one is just not good.
It's better than the Blair Witch because it actually has stuff going on.
Oh yeah, actual things happen and there are some vaguely memorable characters. Like, and
they don't just go around blaming each other for everything and then just...
Oh, incidentally, I'd like to talk about... there's two things I really want to praise about this. One, I love the production design. I really like that sort of Greco-Japanese combination. I wish more folks would be putting it.
And like the kind of red bluish.
Yeah, the tinged lighting. Yeah. I think there was some good stuff there, and I wish they'd shown off more. Two, you know the clone soldier.
Yes.
Yeah, it's played by a transgender actress because I didn't.
Wait, which one is which?
Can't remember.
Was she an actress in it?
I think she was a woman who became a woman, I think, or the other way around. Point is,
or both.
Yeah.
Couldn't make up her mind, so it went backwards again.
I don't know. Point is, you didn't realise, I didn't realise, and barely nobody did, because they didn't make a fucking big deal of it. They were just like, yeah, this person's actually...
They made a bigger deal out of the deaf person in, Under the Lake Before the Flood. Despite not being the first one, Destiny of the Daleks, who was a better actor in that because you couldn't tell at all.
And I kind of liked it though because the being deaf actually added to our character and was more importantly used for very great effect in a very well made scene.
That was a weird scene.
It's pretty still fucking good. Tense though.
It's really good, but
and that's the
point. Weird.
She wasn't made deaf for the sake of it, but the fact she was deaf contributed to elements of the story. And here, they didn't make a big fucking fanfare. They were just like, yeah, this person's actually the first transgender actor we've had on Doctor Who. No big deal, they're part of our society. We shouldn't make a big deal out of having them. It's the exact thing they should have done with the female Doctor, and they didn't do it. And it frustrates me so much because I know they're capable of it. And why, BBC? Why do you have to do this to me?
Also, a thing about it is Rasmussen has this tape which he sends across, and anyone watches it becomes like a sand.
He's gonna send them the spook or whatever.
Yeah, and then they become Sandmen somehow.
Because that's how videos work.
Because movie. And then it's like, oh no, the universe is fucked. Never brought up again.
Oh yeah, I've just never mentioned.
It's never brought up again.
Well, actually,
if you're setting up like this thing, which anybody, it's like the thing from The Ring, only it kind of is like The Ring actually, because the only thing to stop you from dying of The Ring is make copies and show it to people. So you have to do it, otherwise you'll die. Yeah, like every month or so, I think. I think that's the rules behind it. But it is essentially that. But it's never brought up again. So where's the threat? This is a bigger threat than Hellbent actually shows. But it's never brought up again.
think about it though, when have they actually travelled into the future at any point close to that since? This is what, 38th century?
At the end of the universe, hellbent.
True, but that's the end of the universe is trillions of years off that. It's 100 trillion.
I'm
years
just saying,
off,
but you never see the actual consequences.
No, you don't. But I think that's because they haven't really visited any point in the future near that yet. That's all.
It'll be an afterthought. It'll be like the Sleep No More sequel that
he didn't make. Thank God. Then he made Empress of Mars, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
it's nothing great. It's fun.
No, but it's enjoyable. Right, Sleep No More score
2. It's one of the worst stories ever.
I was considering giving it 3 because it does some stuff well.
4 Capaldi stories make it on like my 10 worst stories of all time list.
God, he's unlucky, isn't he? He got some real duds, Capaldi. I pity him. So I gotta admit, there were times where I really feel his talent was wasted.
Yeah,
there are also times when it was done to brilliant effect, which is what will happen in the one after what we're talking about. So yeah,
Face the Raven. I think I'm really conflicted on this one because, like the characters, and like the set and all the other like production stuff is really good, and then the original setup, the story is, but once they get into Diagonally, well, what it is, but it is Diagonally, but
yeah, it's Alien Diagonally.
The acting and the script after that really make it fail. I really like the first half. Really don't like the second half until Clara's death. Which is
whole sort of little alien community thing was actually really well done. I think it was a fun idea and it was pretty
like
well
refugee
realised.
camp. Get it? Refugee camp. Get it?
Why do you have to politicize everything? Can't you just let the story be the story? Why?
I want escapism. That's why I watch the show. Yeah, that's why people watch.
If
stuff.
I want to watch something to comment on modern day affairs, then I'll go and watch that. However, I generally watch Doctor Who for escapist science fiction.
Doctor Who isn't Black Mirror. Well, it is a lot of stuff in Series 10 feels very Black Mirror.
That's a bit of a Black Mirror touch, yeah.
Like Smile and Oxygen.
Yeah,
especially.
if I want. Yeah, but they're the good kind of social commentary science fiction. However, if I want social commentary science fiction, I'll go to Black Mirror, not Doctor Who. Doctor Who
not Live the Land.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Doctor Who is escapist science fiction. It's showing us strange new scenarios that wouldn't necessarily happen here, but might parallel our own world, but in subtle ways. Fuck. Still, it's Riggsy is back, and I like that because he's a pretty guy. He's a good character.
The actor's not very good. I'm gonna say, if you watch it back, it's his line delivery is really off.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty good.
He was good in Flatline. It's just he is a good actor. It's just I don't know what it was. Maybe it's the dialogue.
Yeah. No.
Maybe another take might have done it, but he's really odd with his delivery.
Yeah.
In the first half, at least.
But anyway, rating
5, I'd say. I'm really in the middle on it.
I would give it a 4. I didn't like it at all.
Oh, right. You haven't been that vocal about it.
No, I just didn't like it.
Having said, you take the reins on this one because you've rewatched it, haven't you?
Yes.
I haven't. So,
in my personal opinion,
still give me all the oxygen like last time.
Yeah, in my personal opinion, Heaven Sent is probably the best episode of Doctor Who. It's a brilliantly directed and crafted narrative with which focuses itself entirely on Peter Capaldi's performance and delivery in a fascinating, absolutely not fascinating, but rather captivating manner. And the way this very tightly wound and put together plot is slowly unfolded and revealed to the audience as the Doctor discovers it, as we do, is incredibly engaging and builds to an absolutely genuinely quite intense climax. And the themes of the confrontation of one's fears and the true nature of the Doctor's confession dial and the connections to Gallifrey at the end really come together to bring just a wonderfully atmospheric, brilliantly engaging and unquestionably amazing work of science fiction. I couldn't recommend it more.
What he said.
I would literally give this a 10 out of 10. It's my favourite Doctor Who episode.
I'd probably give it a 9. I can't find flaws with it, I'd just give it a 9.
Because Capaldi is my favourite Doctor, seeing him allowed to shine and show his talent so greatly was so refreshing for me. Right then.
Hellbent.
Now we move on to the episode that raped Jude's children, and honestly, this made me want to die.
Well, at least it gave me grandchildren. But
They were horrible. The problem is they were all horrible because they had Hellbent's DNA in them.
oh yeah,
Okay, just before we start, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Hellbent has really good production design.
I don't think anyone really argues that.
No, visually it looks great, and the design, the costume and set design, especially on Gallifrey, really makes the Time Lord Society feel real and as technologically advanced as we always heard it was.
And then
Yeah,
the script.
The rest of it's shite though. Also, I do like the.
I have had various conversations with people.
I will
about
say,
Hellbent.
as also Hellbent is quite well directed because it's Rachel Talalay, and I do like the way the opening thing. I do quite enjoy that opening scene in the Nevada diner, but that's more due to personal taste things. Otherwise, it's all shite. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's not
shows
worth watching.
like Clara having like avoided death. There's no consequences.
Oh yeah.
And why should having a pill that erases her mind stop the Time Lords from finding her? They're still going to be looking. Having her not, they still know what she looks like.
Yeah, you just ran off. You've just essentially cheated death using their technology and ran off with a fucking TARDIS. They're not going to take that lightly,
Well, they do.
Yeah, but I mean, I kind of like to think in my head canon that actually did hunt down Clara and have her killed properly. That will be quite satisfying.
Well, put her back in. They can't kill her.
Well, yeah, they can effectively. By putting her back in, they will kill her.
Exactly.
So, hunt down Clara, ensure she's dead, then probably do something to a shoulder too, because the Time Lords can be a bit.
She's immortal. They can't kill her.
Yeah, well, no, but I mean the Time Lords are always a bit. They're a bit sketchy about other immortal, ultra powerful beings who aren't them.
She's not really that powerful. She's just immortal.
Yeah, but she's immortal, so they that probably wouldn't sit too well with them. You know what they're like. They can be a bit dicks. Otherwise, Hellbent is stupid.
It's like they say that this will fracture the whole of time and space, but you're at the end of the universe. Nothing is happening. There is no threat. You've seen anything that would have happened, like to fracture the universe. We would see the effects of now, but we don't. And apparently it's at the end of the universe and not in a pocket dimension for some reason. I don't know. And it's like, and then it completely eradicates death because there are no consequences for this. The Doctor can just do what he wants. He did it that easily anyway.
That's the real thing. It removes the consequence from death. Once you remove the consequence from death, it becomes pointless and it becomes meaningless.
Oh look, Nardo was left there. Oh, he could just go into that thing and bring him back, and then he could be immortal as well. You could just take anybody out of time, and they will be immortal, and not just save them from death, but just make them immortal.
It's just so dumb.
We need to keep Trump away from that thing.
Yeah, he becomes our immortal overlord.
Oh god.
I don't know which of them, actually him or Clinton, will be more terrifying.
I could shoot someone in the street and I would still not lose any votes.
Yeah, let's
be
honest, there'd always be someone who voted for him. You could put anyone up as a presidential candidate.
Most people voted for him. And people say, I don't know anyone who voted for him. It's because you hang out with people who don't vote for him. That's because you have different tastes.
Probably because most of the people in your social circle have the same political opinions as you, mate.
That's why you're with them. You might have one or two people.
Yeah. Plus, you
just call them crazy people.
You might live in a... Yeah, that's actually kind of something that really frustrates me with American politics. Anyone who's right-wing is just immediately assumed to be uneducated and crazy, when that's really not the case.
Yeah.
That's a personal frustration. I mean, it only comes down to the point that it's quite possible you live in a more overtly left-wing area, like, New York or something. Same with,
California? Or is that quite in the... That's quite in the
California's kind of middle. I feel like that might be one of the swing states. I don't know.
There's a lot of people
That's the
there.
problem with... That's the thing the BBC suffers from. The BBC are based in London, and London has the political climate of London has a general left-wing liberal bias to it. And the problem is, but it's not representative of the rest of the country, because the BBC don't really get out towards the rest of the country. They think it is representative.
BBC Wales.
Yeah, who gives
which exists.
Dude, Who actually gives a shit about BBC Wales?
Welsh.
They're more likely to watch Plaid fucking Cymru. Which I recall my dad does it. No, my dad does enjoy watching S4C for Scorio, the Welsh football programme. Which is like televised, and Scorio is like local. It's what we would consider local football teams. It's literally people playing in fucking parks, and it's televised. That's what Welsh football is like. But yeah, the point is the BBC.
Well, I thought they'd be playing in fields.
Yeah,
or hills.
It is kind of to that extent, and it's raining because it's Wales. But the point is that because the BBC don't really extend much further than London, they kind of assume that is the general political climate of the country, so it gives them a bit of a skewing in their coverage. Completely intentional, of course, and I still think they're the most reliable source of news.
I always find it odd that
it does have some
I
problems.
may sound like a hypocrite because I say, I don't know anyone who doesn't. It's just been a lot more left-wing people are on like social media.
No, that's true. That's true. You see, it's politically incorrect to be right-wing, because if you're right-wing, your opinions are automatically wrong, and you're worse than Hitler. Or at least that's what the
Hitler was right wing.
That's what the overall climate of thought is at this point. And it's really fucking frustrating because it gets to the point where you don't even want to tell people you have right wing opinions because you're scared they're going to condemn you.
If you actually planned this thing out, this would be social commentary about Series 9 and 10 being political.
Well, no, Series 10 isn't as political. Series 9 is political commentary. Series 10 is social commentary. Series 9 is like
different.
Yeah, no, because Series 9 is Islam, refugees. Series 10 is more talking about the nature of our society in regards to
fucking Lie of the Land.
Lie of the Land. I don't know what the fuck Lie of the Land was. Okay, and I still hate that.
It tried to be 1984, but failed.
How do you fail so bad? I hate you turd. No,
one of the worst stories of all time. Fourth worst, even.
Smile is an interesting look at the way human communication has evolved and how at the same time emojis are inherently flawed for expressing human emotion because they don't have that same subtlety, and that's why I love it.
The emoji.
Meanwhile, Oxygen takes more of a look at social structure.
Imagine the emoji movie had been like Smile.
Yeah, God, that
would have been weird.
What? So, like a subversive science fiction commentary on the nature of our modern communications. That would have been fucking brilliant.
That would have been so weird. And
but there's one problem.
That would have ruptured the internet, honestly.
Yeah, there's one problem though. That requires Sony Pictures Animation to have self-awareness. Better luck next time, kiddo.
It's like in iDubbbz diss track against Rice Gum. You have gum in your name, but you don't realise you live in a bubble. Which is great.
That's true. iDubbbz is good for that. But I mean, and whilst Oxygen is a sort of a interesting look at sort of that it's an overplayed thing, but I still think it should be considered. Like, what happens when rampant capitalism takes over and profit takes precedence above human lives, which is kind of ironic, really, because for a capitalist system to work best, it does actually need to consider the needs and comfort of its workers. Because think about it, it's Lord Leverhulme, right?
Well, yes.
Yeah. The reason he did so well is because he ensured all his employees were well fed, well rested, and genuine. Yeah, that's why he built it, to ensure that his employees were comfortable and happy to be working for him, because then they'd be more productive. Like, treating your employees like shit isn't actually good for making money.
What are we talking about now?
I've forgotten. Back to Series 9 and why it's done. I think someone's knocking on the door. Give me a minute.
Yeah, time for bed.
Alright, later.
11:30.
Yeah, no, give me a minute. Give me a minute.
What's in the minute for?
To finish this.
What's he doing?
We're recording something.
Oh, I see.
No manners. People
Windows
lose
Movie Maker. Go.
Yeah. But, okay. But back to I think I'll get off my soapbox now. The point is,
it's awful.
Series 10, Series 9 was just bad, and it tried to do things and it failed. And sometimes I could respect it for taking those risks, like Sleep No More. Sometimes I just didn't like the stuff it did, especially Zygon, Islam, Allahu Akbar, Explosion.
Whatever that was.
Osgood.
Or
Osgood is like the world's saviour or something. You can really tell which bits were written by Stephen Moffat in the Zygon inversion.
It's like that speech which just shouts the point.
Oh yeah, where it's like, when I first watched it I was like, oh, it's really good, then I realised it was actually just Peter Capaldi, like with that, he's clearly delivering something he kind of knows his shit, but he's doing his best, and he's pretty convincing. And to actually think about it and realize, no, he's just shouting the moral of the episode at us, isn't it? Yeah, Series 9 was just disappointing.
It was just kind of bad. It's one of the maybe the worst series of the new. Maybe.
Yeah, it's a good chance.
Definitely second worst or something.
It's one of them. So, yeah, we can hardly recommend this one, with a couple of exceptions, like Heaven Sent.
And the Under Lake Before the Flood.
Under Lake Before the Flood, Woman Who Lived in Heaven Sent. The rest you can skip.
And what else? Is there any? I don't think there are any others I really like.
Maybe Witches
Face the Raven might.
No, I wouldn't recommend Face the Raven.
Face the Raven, definitely to a taste, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure there's someone who likes it. But otherwise,
AIDS.
Full blown AIDS.